Sync. Hey guys, I want to talk about Jaeger. Hey guys, in this video I want to show you how to use the dark ride feature. I realized that I never made a video explaining how to actually use it. I only had a video or two showing it off, but it seems that there's a lot of misunderstandings about it out there, and people think it's not safe or it's risky, and that's not true at all. It's a really safe feature, and I will explain how it works and why it is safe. The only exception is I don't recommend that you leave it on all the time, especially if you ride trails, because in trails it can happen that if you're coming off your board at a steep section and the board flips over, it might ghost down the side, and so you don't want that. I don't keep it on at all times, but when you're if you want to use it, so I just turn it on when I know I want to play around and ride it, but just don't leave it on all the time, because it might end up surprising you and shooting off the side when you don't want it to. So here's how it works. Let's turn it on. In stop settings there is allow dark ride, so we'll turn that on. And now what you can do is basically it's enabled, so we can flip the board over, but I guess we should take that fender off. And so the key is you have to first ride your board in the normal way, and then you can flip it over. I'm not very good at flipping it, but anyway, so you have about 10 seconds for it to allow you to enter dark ride. If you wait longer than 10 seconds, the feature gets disabled and you have to ride normal again. This is there so that if you're loading the board in the car and you forgot you had dark ride on, that it doesn't just automatically engage on you when it's upside down. So so if I jump off now, it will go backwards, and I see people chasing the board. No, you don't need to, because it intentionally lets the board go backwards a little bit. So it's basically like a pro version of simple stop. You can go backwards a little bit. You can even go backwards forever if you go really slow. I wasn't slow enough here. But the idea is that you want to allow the board to go a little bit backwards. If you're doing tricks or landing somehow, then it needs to go backwards a little bit. But simple stop is basically always active. And so if you jump off the board, this time it already disengaged too quickly. So here I jump off, I let it go backwards a bit, and it might even wiggle a little bit, who cares, but it will turn off. The way it's done is it just turns off hard when it exceeds like 1 or 2 miles an hour. So that's basically what prevents it from causing any issue. Of course, if you have a board with more batteries in the front than in the back, if it's somehow heavier in the front, then the whole thing doesn't work. But a normal board with the batteries in the back will be heavier in the back, and you should have no problem. So you jump off, let the board go, and sometimes it even wiggles up and down a little bit. That's okay, but it won't go very far, and you should always be able to either catch your board or it'll just come to a stop on its own. By the way, it took a good while to get the right mix between letting it go reverse and not letting it wiggle too much until we had it figured out. So thank you, Chris, for your patience.
Yep, malfunction.
So here now a little bit on a downhill, trying to demonstrate how it'll go backwards a little bit before it disengages. Here we go. But it will always disengage, and there is no chance of ghosting. And now the other thing is, after I've stepped off the board, now I have about 10 seconds to get back on. If I miss that window, then the feature gets turned off and you have to, okay, I just heard that beep. That's because I have a buzzer. It told me that now dark ride is disabled. So now the board will no longer engage. Now it's safe to load it in your car or whatever, and you don't have to worry about it. So if I want to ride upside down again, I need to first engage it. Now I can flip it over, and now dark ride is enabled again, and I can ride upside down. Also, there is one other feature that we added, because on some boards it seems that upside down the IMU isn't exactly 180 degrees flipped for some reason. So we have this like dark ride pitch correction factor, and it's in the specs tab. It's not available in float control because that's something you set up once for your board and then never have to do it again. So you just do it in the VESC tool, float config specs, and there you can have a offset for dark ride so that it gets corrected for whatever. If the board doesn't feel level when you're upside down, that correction factor is what lets you adjust that. So that's about it. I hope it's not too windy and you can hear me, but yeah, I hope this was helpful. So enjoy the dark side.